Greetings, Judah. DFG at Gideon's Flight. Hey guys, I just want to take a few minutes of your time, short video, get right to the point. You know, this whole thing that's going on with this election, I just want again to bring it to your attention, especially to you men and your sisters. If you don't have a man, find a male figurehead that you can trust. Again, to line yourself up with, and when shit hits the fan, and it's gonna hit the fan. And let me give you some additional insight. I mean, you've heard me talk about this before, and I'm certain that there may be a few of you doubting Thomases out there, as they call them. The Apostle Thomas who doubted that Yeshua had come back. I'm sure there's a few of you out there that just said, "Oh, I'm just gonna blow that off. What he's saying, it's just fear tactics, and ain't nothing like that's gonna happen." Okay, just remember, you were warned. Okay, now that you've been warned, do whatever you want to do. But for you sisters who are listening, attentively, you brothers who are responsible, for the welfare of your families, I'm talking to you right now. This whole left-right narrative, guys, that you see going on with Biden and Trump, guys, this stuff is a setup. They were dog whistling that Trump wasn't going to step down if he lost the election way back before COVID. Go back and research it. You'll see it. Then somehow or another, it happens and Trump's not going to step down. And many of you think, well, you see, they were right. No, you see, you were programmed into accepting this narrative so you would not critically think your way beyond what you actually see in blindness. Yeshua said he got eyes to see, but cannot see. In essence, the wool is being pulled over your eyes. You're being hoodwinked. And then on the other side of this thing, you got Biden over there saying, the foundation came forward for me. The black votes came forward for me. They came to my rescue. I'm not saying the majority of so-called black people, Judites, voted for Biden, but not the kind of numbers he's insinuating. I guarantee you that. If you listen to any of these social media platforms, talking about Professor Black Truth, what is the other one? What's the other one? Jason Black. I can't even think of the man's program. The Black Authority. If you listen to Lisa Cabrera, Big Judah, a lot of these major, Black Central, so-called Black Central channels, long ago have explained to everybody why you shouldn't vote for Kamala. The wicked demon, or Biden, the segregationist bigot. Camilla, the gorilla, cop, black man, incarcerator, hater, and Joe Biden, the segregationist pig, dog, Biden bill, drug disparity, every kind of thing he could do to destroy the people. Way, way, way too many of us heard those messages. And you've heard mine and many others. Those were just the bigger platforms. So we already know that many of us said, no, we setting this out. But yet you got Biden saying we didn't set it out. That we were the reason. So what he's doing, he's stroking the fires for a racial conflict and a racial war, guys. That has to happen for this one world order, this justification for martial law, this justification for protecting us, not only with vaccine from the coronavirus, but also protecting us for our own best interest and herding us into these safe zones, FEMA camps, controlled environments, so that they can save our lives after this race war gets set off, including these stupid niggas walking around with guns, 240,000, 240 of them, whatever number they are, talking about niggas that, excuse my language, that's what they call it, nigga that's not fucking around. That's what they call themselves. These walking around here like they're some badasses when there's the United States itself has a 2 million man army, but there are more militia groups all over this country that will wipe them guys out in a matter of minutes. Those guys got the kind of weapons in some of these militia camps. They got the same weapons the United States military has, including probably some goddamn nuclear weapons. And these idiots walking around here dog whistling, stroking it all up so that you can be the victim, G, when this shit gets set off. Because you know what's going to happen? If Trump loses, these forever Trumpers are going to come right into our communities and accuse us of being the ones who were doing the cheating. Us who were the ones who were doing the manipulating as far as, at these polls, as far as these people who were counting the ballots. If you did not notice that there are black women that mainstream media is showing counting those ballots. They even went as far to show black women counting ballots that had Joe Biden mask on. Now, how can you be counting ballots with a Joe Biden mask on unless you're trying to stroke? You know what I'm saying? Like you're trying to stroke, you're trying to provoke, some type of violent retaliation. We're already seeing what the Dalen Roots and some of these other little vicious demon dogs, Edomites, can do. One, can you imagine what armies of them swarming through the community can do to us? Who, for the most part, are unprotected. Most of our men can't even legally own firearms. And those that can don't know how to use them. And those that know how to use them have no plan, no strategy to defend their families, defend themselves. Yet this is coming. And I know, again, a lot of you guys saying, oh, you're just stroking this thing up. Look, I am telling you. The book tells us the day, how the scripture calls it, the times of Jacob's troubles. You're Jacob. Judah, you're Jacob. The time of Jacob's troubles. This is when you're gonna be eating your kids. You're gonna be selling out your family members. You're gonna be betraying members of your own family. Gonna betray you or backstab you. It's coming. Why? Because they're gonna be trying to save their wicked asses. So if you're not already a part of a camp or have a very effective plan in play already, with food, resources, we talked about this many times. You're going into them camps. You're gonna take those vaccines, and many of you are gonna die when these demonic armies come against us. The Bible calls it the Battle of Armageddon. Okay, you can read into that with you. The Bible calls it the Battle of Armageddon. And you say, well, oh, that's over in the Middle East. Well, you don't know if the Middle East is over there or over here. You don't know if Egypt is in Africa or Egypt is right here in America. And I will tell you, if you think it's over there, you got it wrong. But that's as far as I'm going to go with that. You figure it out for yourself. There's enough information out there for you to sort it out. Look at the way this nation is set up. Pyramids, etc. If you don't think this is Egypt, then you haven't been to D.C. You haven't seen a map of the way D.C. is set up, including the idolatrous gods and statues and images, the hell days, even your religion, the Mary, Jesus, mother, father, baby, all that shit is straight from Egyptology. You're just too damn dumb because you're ignorant. You're not dumb. You're just ignorant because you haven't you haven't sought Yah for the truth. You haven't researched this mother, father, how do you say mother, father, and son, the Holy Ghost foolishness. That stuff was way back in Egypt, long before that stuff was brought into our time in terms of, the so-called AD era. That's old stuff. But many of you are bought into it because you don't know what's up and you don't know what's down. You don't know you don't know what's up and right because they intentionally confused us. That's why you don't know who you are. You think that you're the people that are white over in the Middle East and running all over the United States and around the world controlling things. When the truth of it, they're Edomites. They're your enemies, and they know who you are. You have no clue who you are, and you think they're you. So I don't want to hear all this what you know, because obviously if you don't know what I just said, you don't know shit in terms of what you should know. So you better be planning and you better be prepping. And again, I know many of you think ain't gonna be no race riot. You just exaggerating facts. Well, let me give you some facts about America. Don't forget about what happens around the world. Let me give you some facts about America. Let me read this information to you. I Googled it up. What about you? Do you Google up? Do you try to research to try to get information when thoughts come to your mind? Again, Biden and all those guys, we're working in conjunction with the Trump administration, with the Soroses of the world, the elites of the world. And the intention is to get rid of you. Racial violence in the United States since 1660. 1660. Said regrettably, racial violence has been a distinct part of American history since 1660. While that violence has impacted almost every ethnic group and racial group in America, it has had a particularly horrific effect on African American life. You, Judah, the so-called Negro. The listed below are some of the major incidents of racial violence profiled against black people. They range from revolts of the enslaved to more recent urban uprisings such as Rodney King riot in Los Angeles. Now, we ain't talking about no goddamn riot. We talking about race riot. That's bullshit. That ain't no race riot. Okay, but let me get on. The lynchings or police shootings. All right? Please look for those incidents elsewhere on this website. All right? But let's go to the revolts of the enslaved. You had, now here are the different slave, and when I said brothers and sisters, you can call this a race riot all you want. But we have never won any of these riots. We always ended up shot down dead by the tens of hundreds, sometimes by the thousands. Not one race, one of these race riots, did we come out ahead. But let me give them to you. The New York so-called slave uprising in 1712. The Steno Rebellion in 1739. The New York slave conspiracy, New York City slave conspiracy in 1744. New York has been a very racist state for us and city, by the way. The Gabriel Prosser Revolt in 1800. The Igbo Landing mass suicide 1803. Aldrich Rebellion in 1811. Denmark Vinci Conspiracy 1822. The Nat Turner Revolt 1831. Amistad Mutiny 1839. Creole Case 1841. The Slavery Revolt of the Cherokee Nation 1842. You see they put black and Cherokee together? They know. The Cincinnati Rise of 1829. The Anti-Abolition Rise in 1834. The Cincinnati Race Rise in 1836. The Pennsylvania Hall Fire Rise in 1838. The Christiana, Pennsylvania Rise in 1851. Detroit Race Riot 1862. New York City Draft Riots in 1863. White folks didn't want to go fight to free no niggas down south, so they took it out on the blacks up in New York. If you saw the movie Gangs in New York, you saw that. The Pulaski, Tennessee Race Riot. The Camilla Massacre. The Opelousas, Louisiana Massacre. The Meridian, Mississippi, 1871 Race Riot. Opelousas was 1868. The Camilla was 1868. Pulaski, Tennessee Race Riot was 1868. The New Orleans Massacre, 1886. The Memphis Riot, 1866. Again, Detroit City Draft Riots, 1863. The Colfax Massacre, 1873. The Clinton, Mississippi Race Riot, 1875. The Hamburg, Mississippi Riots, 1876. The Carroll County Courthouse Massacre, 1886. The Thibodaux, Louisiana Massacre, 1887. The New Orleans Dock Workers Riot, 1894 to 1895. The Virginia Illinois Race Riot, 1898. The Wilmington Race Riot, 1898. Newburgh, New York Race Riot, 1899. Charles Roberts Riot in New Orleans, 1900. The New York City Race Riot, 1900. The Atlanta Race Riot, 1906. Springfield, Illinois Race Riot, 1908. The Slocum Massacre, 1910. The East St. Louis Race Riot, 1917. Chester, Pennsylvania Race Riot, 1917. The Houston Mutiny and Race Riot, 1917. The Philadelphia, Pennsylvania Race Riot, 1918. The Charleston, South Carolina Race Riot, 1919. The Longview, Texas Race Riot, 1919. The Washington, D.C. Race Riot, 1919. Chicago Race Riot, 1919. The Knoxville Race Riot, 1919. The Tulsa Race Riot, we know about that. The Black Wall Street Massacre, 1921. The Rosewood Massacre, 1923. We know about that one. Rosewood, Florida. The Harlem Race Riot, 1935. The Beaumont, Texas Race Riot, 1943. The Detroit Race Riot, 1943. These are the soldiers who came back from World War II and they got attacked. The Columbia Race Riot, 1946. The Peekskill Riot, 1949. The Cambridge, Maryland Riot, 1963. The Harlem Race Riot, 1964. Rochester Rebellion, 1964. The New Jersey Uprising, 1964. The Patterson, New Jersey Uprising, 1964. Elizabeth, New Jersey, 1964. The Chicago Dixmoor Riots, 1964. The Philadelphia Race Riots, 1964. The Wasp Rebellion, 1965. Cleveland Hart Riots, 1966. Damn, I'm getting tired. The Chicago, Illinois Uprising. The Dayton, Ohio. Hunter's Point, San Francisco Riots. The Nashville Race Riot in 67. Newark Race Riot, 67. Plainfield, New York Race Riot, 1967. Detroit, 1967. Flint, Michigan, Guys, this goes on and on and on and on and on and on and on. So if you think for 1 second that the history won't repeat itself, I've just given you so much evidence, and that's only halfway through, guys, that it has repeated itself, and it shall repeat itself, and it's going to be coming very, very soon. And you had better be prepared, Judah, because you're the target. They have made you the target of this wickedness. So you had better get off your asses and get yourself ready while you still have a minute to do it. DFG Talk to you later. Bye now.